For at least for anyone that doesn't know that. This is my brief review of Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I am actually also, I don't know if you're going to hear him or not, but joined by my brother Tim. Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
I should go without saying that I fell in love with this game as soon as I really looked up what it was. And it took me, since the game only took a year and a half, I felt like I've known this game a lot longer than that, though. But yeah, it took me about probably 3/4 of a year to even know this game existed. Well, I was aware of the title. I was aware of the title because I saw pop figures at a GameStop once, and every once in a while the name came up, and I didn't get interested till I saw a music video for Nightcore's rendition of Build Our Machine. And when I was reading the lyrics, it made me okay, these lyrics sound kind of awesome. And then I found the original song, Build Our Machine, by DA Games. Again, love that song. There's a reason that it got famous quickly. And that's how I ran into Bendy and the Ink Machine. There was what's it called? Oh, a Source Filmmaker video that did a music video from that. And as soon as I saw, what really got me actually wasn't Bendy. The first thing I saw that really got me going was this model here. Alice Angel's Two-Face look got me curious, and that made me look further into it, and I fell in love with the series ever since. Well, I wouldn't say series, fell in love with this game ever since. Sadly, my gaming PC died ages ago, so I couldn't play it. I ended up watching Jacksepticeye play this game. I would recommend checking him out because he's actually really funny. But yeah, I mean, I found out about this game not long before Chapter 4 came out, and I watched Chapter 4, and I actually really enjoyed it. I've actually been collecting a shit ton of Bendy Pops myself. I know, this is a very offhand review. To tell you, yeah, I really love this game. But let me try to step back and take a much more detached approach. To be honest, I don't know if I'd be terrified of that or not. That is kind of freaky to look at. How is it overall? As a horror game, I find it really good. I think it was really obvious as plain as Mr. Maleficent that, especially Chapter 3, which is both tedious and horrifying, because that's the only chapter where Bendy really comes out at random, and you're never certain where he's going to appear. Oh my god, that's unnerving. I felt bad. The Butcher Gang did not... Though Charlie there had that one good jump scare, the Butcher Gang... I love their twisted designs, but I was spoiled on Bendy over here because he can kill you in one touch. They take a few more hits, and I had a weapon to defend myself with for most of that chapter. Moving on, though, the horror of it sets the tone pretty early in the first chapter, and the first chapter relies a lot on jump scares, but it builds up to a more atmospheric horror from that point on. And I'll admit, some things didn't scare me as much as they probably could have, because I have watched this game on YouTube a lot. Oh, obviously there were parts I missed, because I saw that in my face. I was freaked out. I probably would have been a bit more freaked out. Now, granted, I was still pretty freaked out in Chapter 3. I think I actually got kind of lucky, because I know Chapter 3 is the most tedious chapter of them all. Huh. Oh, it's a bow. I thought there was something actually sticking in her side. I never noticed before. I love the lore of this game. The lore is it can suck you in very quickly, because you can't help but be interested. There's not a whole lot of speculation about that ending, actually. I know what it means. If you don't know what it means, I guess I won't necessarily say it here, so you guys can figure it out yourself. It's pretty obvious. It's also really obvious by the niece talking at the end that the Meatley and, oh, I already forgot the other guy's name. Good look. The Meatley and... even know where's his name. Mike Mood. Immediately in Mike Mood came off with a brilliant game and they didn't expect it to be as big as it did. As it was. It kind of scared them. But the lore is very interesting. I kind of hope they continue with it. Not sure what to do, but I hope they continue with it. I mean, hell, the merchandising on this alone is going to make them a hell of a mint. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm going to have a Bendy plushie sitting over here, smiling, plotting my demise. The graphics are pretty good. I mean, as I noticed the game was looking more and more, I won't say detailed, but fluid as time goes by. But there were still some issues, like, as we saw, you missed this earlier, Tim, when I was starting the game, but when the loading screen came up, it randomly transported me to the beginning of the chapter with a base model Morris doing the whole, stay there thing, and I was like, what happened? Did I break the game? Do I have to start over? So there's like maybe a couple bugs here and there. I think now I like the chapter 2 thing where I had to stop early because I think I came into a bug. I don't know if that was a bug or I just did not see those keys. But for the most part, it's pretty bug-free. I don't think I ran into really any big game-breaking issues. The boss battles were memorable with Bertram here. Not in the carousel. Oh, great bald spot. And what else was a boss? Sammy was a boss fight, but he wasn't that fancy. This guy was a boss fight, but of course you couldn't fight him hand-to-hand no matter what you would have done. Let's be honest, even if they gave you a weapon, you weren't going to fight this guy. Oh my god. I remember how twisted it was that I still believe that this Boris here, the one that was with you, was Wally Franks that got turned into that thing. Oh. I wish I could have given him a bone, but I didn't know where the bone was to give him. There's still some secrets in the game that I've seen but don't know where they are. And I obviously missed my my Henry's audio log at some point, so I'm going to have to do another playthrough to find all those. So gameplay solid, horror solid. The models are very memorable. I mean, hell, you're not going to forget these faces anytime soon. Did the old model have the... I'm going to see if I can see behind it. Yeah. No, the old model did not have the spine. As you can see there, yeah, his spine's poking out. I didn't... Huh. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't think I remembered that before. Like I said, the entire game is Sepia-tone. That's what's weird in the ending when it comes into color, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? Kind of wish they had Joey Drew's model out so you could see the difference between Joey Drew and everyone else. Ominous here, because they only appear at the end of Chapter 4. They're in parts of Chapter 5. I feel like there's a big story in there involving these two. I mean, maybe that was also part of why they didn't have them more in the game, because maybe you're just supposed to think about what they did. And I mean, I can only imagine what happened to his arm. I can pretty sure probably blame Two-Face over there for that, but I can only imagine. So the music's very good and memorable. It's very reminiscent of the era. I mean, not like you had any big vocals, but the tunes themselves felt like very 1930s. Like this elevator music going on right now. Yeah, if you want to sit a little closer, Tim, you want to share any thoughts?
I don't have many thoughts. I mean, I don't have enough. I've just seen enough of the game really to go.
Really? I think you've seen the entire game, haven't you?
Yeah,
Well,
I've seen most of it, but not. I don't know.
I know I've shown you summations with the Stickman versus Bendy.
Yeah.
That was quite entertaining. I wonder if he has a Chapter 5 out yet. I'd love to see you play this. I don't know how good you are with horror games. I don't think I've ever seen you play any. Well, have you played Bioshock?
No.
You haven't played Wow, really? That's like, I'd call that a horror game in the sense. I mean, it is and it isn't. Yeah, we played Art. Wow, RE5's not a horror game. What are we talking about?
I guess you play once. I can't really say anything. I haven't played.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, from what I've seen, I like the style.
Story's very interesting. There's a lot of filling in the blanks for the story, but I think that's what makes it work. Because you're Henry trying to figure out what the hell was going on. So. Do you want me to try to explain that to you? I mean, if they watch the entire video, it's not like it's a spoiler.
Okay.
Okay, warning: if you have not watched Mr. Maleficent Plays Bendy in the Ink Machine, stop this video now because I will talk about the ending. I actually kind of called the end. Of all the theories I had about what was going on. That is the one I called. That was the only one I got right. Because I know a lot of fans thought Ink Bendy was Joey, because there were a lot of the Ink characters were obviously people who worked here turned into Ink form. I will explain that real quick before we get to the ending, especially that giant hand. What is going on? If you are familiar, I'll explain this to you, Tim. As you know, in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the Changelings.
Oh yeah.
The Great Link, same deal.
Oh.
Same deal here. Joey Drew sacrificed people so their souls would be in the ink. The only creature that did not have a soul was this asshole here.
Oh.
But the way the ink worked is kind of like the Great Link. It's a giant ocean of memories and souls, and your identity gets swept away, and maybe you'll get lucky to pop out. That's what these Alices were talking about. Tom, I don't know if Tom ever went back to the ink, because if they touched it for too long, they just melt right back into it, and they're back in the ocean. So that was one thing. But so pretty much, if it wasn't already obvious, now I'm not sure how to explain this guy, but he might be the one hiccup in that, but I don't even know where to go with that. Anyone else reminded of Walt Disney's head cryogenically frozen? But essentially, the entirety of the ink machine, all the ink you saw, every bit of it, was Demon Bendy. I mean, that's kind of scary. He was everywhere, no matter what. That is really freaky to think about. But the ending. Okay. This is why, I'm going to be honest, Joey Drew, if it wasn't already obvious, is a complete asshole. Yes, he used demonic rituals, as did Samuel Lawrence, to, demonic rituals, spiritual lookups, and pseudoscience to create the ink machine. He sacrificed everybody in the damn studio to make his characters come to life. He learned that after Ink Bendy came out, who didn't have a soul and was a creepy motherfucker, and I'm pretty certain he could turn into cardboard cutouts. I do not like you, cardboard cutouts. You are my enemy. After he learned he needs souls, very much like some of the ideas of golems in some form of fantasy fiction. Especially like Dragon Age Origins is a good example of this. Golems were made from the souls of dwarves. That's how they work. Ink Bendy, who did not have a soul, became something else, twisted and evil. He's more ink now than man. But that is why no one else could stop him. So Joey wrote Henry to say, "Come on back to the studio. I have something to show you," hoping that Henry would be the one to finally put a stop to Bendy. But in doing so, he is forever trapped in a movie. That's what it is, because Sue starts all over. It's a constant cycle. He is trapped forever in Bendy and the Ink Machine. He can never go back to his family. Joey Drew had one more sacrifice to stop his monster. Which, I repeat, was why he said, that's why he called his empire a crooked empire. And to be honest, Joey Drew is a complete asshole. So, that is pretty much the ending. At least that I understand it. And there's probably some more audio tapes I missed that help explain the background a bit better. I mean, let me go back to the main menu because I can only circle that room so many times. And the game's only $20. It's great. It's actually a perfect price point for an independent game that's not horribly long. You could probably beat it in like 6 to 8 hours. I just took quite some time because I had shit going on, and I do apologize for that. I hope to see more. I do recommend buying this. Support this game because it's not AAA bullshit that I have to deal with a lot, and honestly, it's a very good horror game. One of the best I've seen. I've also heard people compare this and Call of Cthulhu to like, what's it called? Amnesia: The Dark Descent. A little bit. I don't know. I never played Amnesia. I think this plays better than Amnesia. Anything else you want to share? Anything about the plot you thought wasn't? You wanted to? Are you good? I have no idea if people can hear you, but I hope that they can. I know they can hear music when it's in the background, so I'm assuming they can hear you.
I'm just trying to see where to start with. I mean, okay, the gameplay's wise, I can't really say anything. I can't really give you. I guess it looks good.
It functioned.
Yeah, it functioned. So there's that.
I should mention this is something really I thought kind of funny. I brought this up earlier when I was walking around with my little ink tumors. Mm-hmm. There is a shadow of the ink tumor. There's not a shadow of your character model. So you're just a floating blob. So I don't know what the hell they're finding, but there's obviously something there and they need to kill it. Okay, but continue.
Good story keeps you interested.
Oh yeah, definitely does that.
Definitely, from what I've seen, I didn't see every bit of it, especially with the part of chapter 5 I need to see. So
well, as I said, you guys go.
I got the gist of it, so yeah. I wasn't thrown off. But
yeah, I tried to fill you in before you came in.
Like I said, good atmosphere. It does have a few jump scares, which I thought were good. Yeah, I think it's. I'm going by. I don't know. I don't have a.
I know you're not a huge gamer, so.
Well, there's that, and especially when it comes to the gaming, I'm not fully in depth when it comes to horror games, so I can't really gauge it with other stuff. But I think it's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah, I agree. As I said, highly recommend buying it. I said it's only a $20 price point, so it's very affordable for everybody. Especially, and I know it's been on Steam since October, so. If it wasn't already obvious, this is a really good game. I recommend buying it. As a quick update for my channel, I do want to say that I'm going to start developing a more steady schedule. I have a lot of crap that happens in my life, and I can't do this as spontaneously as I have been doing. So what I might end up trying to do is 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday for my live shows, and then it will be posted on YouTube as soon as it's done. I originally was going to do Darksiders next, but I actually want to wait up on that. I just finished Darksiders 3. I finished 2 playthroughs of Darksiders 2. And I'm trying to finish a playthrough of Darksiders 1 again on a different system, so I wanted to try to finish it on the PS4. So instead, I'm probably going to do Dead Rising 4. It's not a horribly long game. I greatly enjoy it. I just have to decide if I want to do vanilla game or Capcom Heroes mode. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of prefer Capcom Heroes mode, but the vanilla game has the exosuits, so it's gonna be a toss of the coin. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope they see you all again Wednesday. Have a good night.